Hi everybody, we're ready to start.
Are we all good?
I'm sure most of you know who I am. My name is Grace. And this is my sign name. Hi, good to see you. So we're here tonight to give a very short presentation about who we are and what we do at Kara. I'm sure most of you already know that I'm Grace, and I used to be the chairperson for Auckland Deaf Society. I stepped down last year. I have a new job, and I'm focusing on my new job at Kara Technologies. So tonight, I want to give a demonstration of the projects that we've been working on so far, and get the feedback from the deaf community and questions and comments. We're quite open-minded to your feedback. There's a few things I have to cover before we start. The presentation is from 8 till 9. Arash and I will give the presentation to start with and go through a slideshow. And then at the end of the presentation, we have some questions for you that we want you to answer. There's two different ways to present your answers. You can do it through your phone by using a QR code that you can scan, or at the end of the presentation, the people here in the building who are physically here can go into a fun polling booth and say what you like. So the question online will be a little bit different to the one in the building. And then afterwards, there's an opportunity for you to ask questions to the full team, and we'll all be here to answer you. So just to let you know that there's 5 of us here at the moment. Myself, Grace, Arash over here, Richard, who's sat at the table down there, Sahar and Famir over there on the tech, on the computers. They're the online team. Okay, so if you have any questions, please hold them to the end. We've got a slot for that, and we'll ask that if you're here, you can come up on the stage and ask your question, because remember, it's being live streamed. If you're not comfortable to come up and stand in front of the camera, you can actually write your question to Sahar or Famir, and then we'll get the interpreter to come up and sign it for you. Okay, so we're ready to start. Over to you, Arash.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Arash, A-R-A-S-H. My sign name is this. Actually, English is my second language, and sorry, I'm just learning to sign, so hopefully I get better and better. It's the first time I'm coming to Deaf Club, and interestingly, the first 2 people that I saw, they have the same name. But I'm extremely honored to be here. So I am originally from Iran. I moved in New Zealand in 2013 to do my PhD in Auckland University. I got a inner problems, kind of a disease, and when I had that in 2016, I was getting a vertigo attack almost every day. And vertigo attack. It's like the worst hangover you can have in your life without having a party night before, just totally sucks. And we tried to suppress it using pills, and we had like 33 pills a day from the same pills, tried to suppress it. It didn't work. The best way it worked, I just let it go. So because of that, my left ear is silent, and the right ear I still can hear, which is okay. At the same time, I was very interested about technology. So what I did was I went to the, back then it used to be called Kelston Deaf Education Center. They recently changed the name, of course. And I met with really amazing people, and they teach us so much. And we figured out, avatars are coming in every places to do the sign. Why we shouldn't have it in New Zealand, right? And we said, okay, let's go and do something. Because I personally knew nothing. So technically, the kind people, what is Daniel? Thanks a lot to you. Technically, spoon feed me about sign language, about the culture. I've been introduced to that. That was so cool. Our first try. Oh, by the way, in this photo is our first time visit. It's so young. I'm getting so old after this, which is interesting. So, would you mind doing that? So, this is our first avatar we built, which I'm not proud of at all. Can you play it, Grace? Let me start showing that to people. They were saying, where is the facial expression? Where is the smooth hand movement? It's rubbish. It doesn't work. So we try to absorb the learning and go, okay, you guys want a facial expression? Let's work really hard. So we work really hard and come with the second iteration. Her name is, much better, I know. So her name is Nikki. That's her sign name. Why? Because she's made of zeros and one. Oh, so smart. Grace, would you mind playing? So everyone can see, hopefully. Getting better, but what I figured out as an outsider, which is not from New Zealand, is Kiwi people are so ambitious. Like, oh, you want to do this? Let's do it even better. So we said, okay, let's even work harder and see what the technology can come up. So we create many avatars, and the next avatar is my personal favorite. It's so cool, and I'm going to show you. Thank you. So we pay so much attention. Thanks. So we pay so much attention on facial expression. Our first avatar has 24 different facial expressions. The second avatar has 128 facial expressions. The one that you saw has 600 facial expression. We figured out, for example, in sign language, this is very important, but so we learned a lot, and based on that, many cool technology come up, and I pass it to Grace to tell you the rest of the story because I'm getting tired.
Thank you, Arash. So obviously you can see the work and the progression that's come from the first version to the second, which was an improvement, and now where we are, which is phenomenal. It would have been impossible to do that without all the people around us, the team. For example, the animators, the engineers, the medicine advisor, the deaf community, Houston Deaf Education Centre, which is now Katakareo. Appreciate that. The New Zealand Sign Language Board. So this was 4 years ago, this footage, when we started working on a picture book, and we were trying to translate children's books into sign language, because people in the deaf community said that those resources were needed, so we decided to focus on that and start translating picture books with avatars. We translated 6 storybooks, so I'd like to show you our most recent picture book, which actually hasn't been launched yet, so you get to see a sneak preview before it goes out later this month. We're really proud of this. Just a little bit of background information on this one. The book is The Very Hungry Caterpillar. 4 years ago, you would have seen the video before that when we did our first translation. or we started translating it, and now this is the finished project.
Where did you go?
So that's that's the last page of the book. There's a whole story that goes before that, which will be launched in 1 or 2 months. So that's the history of Kara, which has focused so far on picture books. But we have been thinking, and we've come to the realisation that we don't want to only do picture books, so that's why we're here tonight, to talk about some of the issues that we want to work on. The issue is emergencies. If an emergency happens, how do deaf people receive information currently? I've got a little story to tell you. So what's happening in this picture? I have no idea. There's no subtitles, no sound, no sign language. It's all right. I've got some prior information that I can add. So what's happening in this picture is New Zealand, there's been a massive earthquake off the shore, like 9.4 on the Richter scale, a really major one, which means a tsunami is coming to hit New Zealand very soon. This reporter is reporting straight away, sending out emails, texts, and hearing people can receive it in written form or hearing form at a very quick time frame afterwards. So hearing people are able to get that information and take action straight away like this. The hearing people all panic and try and get to higher ground away from the water. But what about us? What about the deaf people? Do we know what to do? We're saying, what's happening? Why are all the hearing people scattering? The deaf people are just sitting here wondering what to do. And that's not right. That's not fair. So, this is actually a serious issue. So, there's different ways that information can be received. For hearing people, it's instant. They can get phone calls, text messages, websites, watch the news. There's a whole list there of the ways that they can receive information instantly. However, the deaf community can get civil defence text, but that's in written English. And then maybe later on, friends and family will think, oh, that's right, I need to check on my deaf family member or friend. But that's not fair. There's a delay for the deaf community. So you can see the comparison in the two lists there. So we at Kara have had a discussion about this and figured out how to solve the issue, or the gap. We recognise the gap. So if there's an emergency, the information goes out instantly, and then the deaf community has to wait for an interpreter to come. But there's still a gap, and that's still not fair. So we've talked about this, and we've tried to figure out how to solve that problem. And one person from the deaf community approached me and said that it was a good idea that Kara had the technology to develop something around emergencies. So we've been thinking about that. And we created another fun story for you. So it's probably best that you watch this first, and then I'll explain it afterwards.
Oh, what's right here? Oh my God!
So we're safe. We managed to escape, both of us, before the tsunami came. So you could see the first situation, the hearing person took off and left the deaf person behind. In the second situation, with Kara technology as a solution, the civil defence text went out with a video in sign language, which was received by the deaf person. So you're probably wondering, how did you create that video? How did you design it? What elements were involved? So I will pass back over to Arash to describe that part of it, give a demo.
So, so the way that actually the technology works for, in case of emergency for everybody, because emergency happened like 3 a.m. in the morning, so there are some already messages which already prescribed and templated, right? So an emergency person will choose a location, the time, the type of emergency, and the action. So we said, okay, so this is being used for text system. How can we translate that into sign language? So imagine it's 3 a.m. in the morning, somebody in civil defense who doesn't know much about the sign language wants to send an emergency message to everyone. How can we make that accessible into sign language? To do that, I need a volunteer to come and choose a scenario. Can we have a volunteer? Anybody interested to come and create a scenario? Please go. All right.
I'm motivated. With the weather. There was a storm recently. And the waves got really big. And I didn't know about it. I didn't hear it on the radio. I didn't get a message on my phone. I found out a little bit late. And maybe the tornado was already coming, but I found out too late. So it would be better to get the warning beforehand, and then I would be prepared. Yeah, we need more.
So you're going to help me to create a message, right? So I'll ask you a couple of questions, and you choose, okay? So first thing is, you choose what city emergency is happening.
Hey, no.
And you can choose here.
Arash, if you just want to step to the side.
Sorry. Oh, New Zealand?
All of New Zealand.
All of New
Zealand.
Oh. You? Auckland.
I'm in South Auckland.
Okay. So for this is a demo. We don't have all the cities yet. We will add later on.
Giving you a specific place. Near White Pleasure. He's saying it needs South Auckland.
Okay. So next is you choose what is happening. Tsunami?
And an earthquake as well.
So you can choose one.
Tsunami. It's a strong one.
There are many messages you can choose, but because it's demo, we just choose like 4 messages only. In the future, we keep adding more messages. So we could add more than like 25,000 different messages already. So, you choose Auckland, tsunami, and go immediately to high ground. Then you click play. You'll see it inside.
So I have to go out another hill to the top.
So thank you for coming.
I don't want to get out too late and get hit by the tsunami.
So maybe you can explain.
Grace is gonna
Thank you.
Thank you for volunteering. So we'll do another example as well. I'll do it here just so you can see really clearly. But so the choices at the moment is, Arash said, are quite limited because it's just a demo. But later we will add all the locations in New Zealand, all the different types of emergencies that could possibly happen in New Zealand. And so that's why we're asking for feedback at the moment. So the man who came up before, who made selections, he chose Auckland and tsunami and to go immediately to high ground. And that instantly came up as a translation in sign language. And that's just copied and pasted and can go out. It's pre-prepared like a script. So our goal is to provide this to civil defence so that at 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever emergency is happening, they can be putting out their civil defence emergency to hearing people and deaf people at the same time with a script and a video that is pre-prepared. So I'll give you another situation that isn't a tsunami just to show that it is flexible. So here's another one. Let's start again. So it's always an alert. And I think I'll choose Wellington. And I'll choose earthquake. So like I said before, earthquake is only one option. So the only thing to do is drop, cover and hold. You don't need to stay home, put your mask on for an earthquake. So they'll click on the drop, cover and hold because it's the only one available. And voila. So it repeats, it's on a cycle that repeats. But in different situations, there'll be a new URL, a new link that goes out. So this is just the very first demo that we've created. In the future, we'll improve it and there'll be a lot more selection, but this is just to give you an idea of what our aim is and what we're focused on at the moment. So I'll go back to the PowerPoint, the slideshow. Okay, so that's the end of the demonstration. So the next step going forward is we need to approach civil defence, but we can't do that without your support. We need community support. Then we can list names, or we can show that we have evidence. Like if we vote, we can take that to the government and say this is needed and that it needs to be a priority because we have rights and we want to access the information at the same time as the hearing people do. Sorry, I forgot to mention something. I'll just go back. So the CARA team also wants to show that we fully respect live interpreters as well. We're not trying to eliminate interpreters. Interpreters are still human. We can't expect, we can't do translations on the spot like interpreters can. So this is just for emergencies at 3 or 5 o'clock in the morning when an interpreter can't get there to fill the gap. So the information that will be created on a script will always be limited, and we can't, replace an interpreter that can get there and expand on that and say what time the earthquake was, how powerful it was, what the impacts are going to be. All those details still need to be provided by an interpreter on site later on when they can get there. Hold your questions to the end. Okay, so with your support, we can take the next step and approach civil defence and make this happen. Without your support, civil defence will probably say there's no place for this. It's not needed. So that we can advocate to the government for this. So what I'm saying is this project would have been impossible without our amazing team. So I would like to ask the full team, all of you, to come and stand up next to me and introduce themselves and give me their sign names and their role so that you know who's created this wonderful solution. Hi everyone, my name's Sahar. This is my sign name. I'm the CEO. COO. Hi everyone, nice to meet you all. My name is Famia, and this is my sign name, like farmer. And I work in technology. I'm the programmer. Hi everybody, my name's Richard. This is my sign name. And I work in animation. Thank you everybody. That was great. They're really improving with their sign language. I've been working on them. So just briefly I'll explain what all these roles are. So Arash is the top boss, the CEO. Sahar is COO. She's a very skilled organiser. She keeps us all on track, meets deadlines and achieves our outcomes. Famir is the Chief Technology Officer. He's really skilled with software development, programming, so anything we hit, Famir fixes it. Richard is our Chief Animator. He's the one who creates the avatars when you see them signing. That's his work. And so those four are all amazing people. And I joined them almost a year ago, and I'm finding it really lovely to work with them. So with these people, I'm trying to make this project possible and make it happen. So like I said at the start of the presentation, I would like you all to answer some questions, the viewers.